Alrighty, well, the 4th of July has ended and all that. Well, don't you guys think it's time to take our independence back? Okay? Now, I've been showing videos here and there about how to do petitions, or not really how to do it, but to do it, right? And learn how to do it. The guy that we're fixing to listen to, okay? On the E-Clause, a video I merely copied a couple of videos back is showing how, or talking about the petition, and it took down Ector County a few years ago, and now since passed away. Well, this guy was actually in with them, learning together before he passed away. But he didn't stop. He kept on learning, and he is where he's at today. Now, a long time ago, I had to give you guys notice. When I first seen the video many years ago, I heard this thing called Sovereign Citizen, and I thought there was a sovereign citizen, so I always wanted to check out what a sovereign citizen was. And made a lot of sense, but I'm trying to, I was in that cognitive dissonance, right? It made sense, but they're sovereign citizens. All this, I had to do research. I had to learn. I had to educate myself, okay? And now I know, okay? But here's a little idea, and his name is John Gentry, okay? So, and his YouTube channel, by the way, is John Gentry. All right, but listen to some of his other videos. I just now found him. Okay, I've always wondered where he was at when I started doing videos, and well, I finally found him, but I never knew his name to actually look for him. So, and by the way, the David deal, the videos talked about how you actually go through the process the lawful way through court. They're kind of tied in together too. They're working the system and trying to re-educate our legislatures and our Senate of the states. Now, that being said, the E-Clause guy, he's actually been to Congress twice, or a couple of good times, because Ector County, where it got damaged at, was due to him going to Congress to get them involved. All right, let's go.
And she says the Constitution is not clear. Constitution is not clear. That would make it void for vagueness. And the Constitution is not vague. It is clear we have a right to address those invested with the powers of government. Their rules say petitioners are presented. Petitions are presented by the petitioners themselves.
I'm approaching the Tennessee House Chief Clerk on behalf of...
Now remember, y'all, what is that? The First Amendment. We have a right to petition our regress of our grievance. And we have remonstrants, to instruct them how to go. Which, by the way, don't remember the whole book name, but it's Madison Legislature. But what it is, it actually shows what the legislature must go through. All right? And when you understand that part of it and they step out of that bounds, then you got to go in there and do a petition to reel our servants back in. Okay, they're stepping outside the scope of his authority. 90% of the laws, alleged laws, right, is unconstitutional. 90%, people. Sit and think about that.
Mr. John Gentry, with this petition and statement, involves a petition of grievances. 1, unconstitutional and void statutes. 2, failure to address grievances. 3, judicial reform. 4, reinstitution of constitutionally guaranteed rights. Signed, Bud Halsey, Tennessee State Representative. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Council can represent council.
Thank you, Mr.
Now, sit and think about this, y'all. How many of y'all actually done this? And you guys want to complain about our state legislature? they're not, they're not for us, and why should we vote for them and all that? Well, it's because we, the people, are not holding them accountable.
Chairman, I've been here in the legislature 8 years, and I believe you've come before this committee at least 8 times. And we've talked in my office 1 or more times. What would you suggest that this chamber do to correct these situations?
God bless you for that question, sir. We need to start impeaching judges and send a clear message. Tennessee is the volunteer state, and let Tennessee lead the way, because this corruption of our judiciary is not a Tennessee problem. It is a problem across this country and across this world. And I implore the members to have the courage to abolish this agency and let Tennessee lead the way, that the judiciary has been proven incapable of self-government and self-oversight, and that the legislative houses are going to take back the power of impeachment. And under Article 6, Section 6, judges may be removed by concurrent vote of both houses. But the only way the members are going to know to impeach under Article 5, Section 1, or the only way they're going to know to remove under Article 6, Section 6, is if the members start receiving petitions of remonstrance from their citizens.
We're going to stop there again. Think about that. What did I talk about before even finding him, right? Judges don't have unbridled powers. They're not supposed to be this way. All right? They don't get to make opinions, enforce laws that's not even laws. Right? Oh, we're going to give cops qualified immunity. Judges don't have that authority. They became kings, and they can be impeached. Congress can impeach the Supreme Court judges. They're not there for a lifetime unless they're in good faith.
These rules themselves, proposed by this agency, are repugnant.
Oh, and just a second ago when they said, now, judges go and led by mostly administrative code, statutes, rules, and regulations. And that's what he's talking about. They're going by that and not so much by the Constitution.
And for Judge Gay to tender these rules renders him unfit for office. Taken together with his obvious conspiracy with Senator Bell to silence my testimony last hearing on these rules, he should be impeached. I accuse Judge Gay and Senator Bell of federal crime in violation of 18 U.S.C. Section 241, conspiracy against rights, and I demand to address the full body in memorial and remonstrance. Representative Hardaway agreed the words of Senator Bell did not ring true, and Representative Daniel shared the same concern. Who among you will file a brief statement with the clerk so that I may address the body? Show of hands. And let the record show that I see no hands.
Chairman Sanderson, you're recognized, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Gentry, you heard the testimony or the presentation from the sponsor of the bill, and he contends that this is a bill that we need, and you contend it's not a bill that we need. That puts us in conflict. And so how do we disseminate between what you say and what he says? You recognize, Mr. Gentry.
Well, thank you for asking that, Representative Sanderson. The next point I was going to make is the rules of professional conduct require a lawyer who knows that another lawyer has engaged in misconduct shall report them to the Board of Professional Responsibility. And the same is in Rule 10, Code of Judicial Conduct. A judge that knows of attorney misconduct shall report them to the appropriate authority. So here we have a complete breakdown. We've got an attorney filing a frivolous lawsuit who's got opposing counsel who is failing to report them for ethical violations, as well as the judge. The whole thing has broken down. If we want to solve frivolous lawsuits, it's not through a slap bill like this. I would encourage, and I would be honored to assist in drafting a bill to properly address this problem. And to do that would be to fine and sanction the attorneys from both sides and the judge who are involved in a frivolous lawsuit. that don't report that misconduct to the Judicial Oversight Agency or to the Board of Professional Responsibility. So that's the conflict, is we need to start enforcing the ethical rules and start to heal our nation of the misconduct that's happening in our courts. We don't need legislation that is duplicative and that is contradictory of existing rules.
Thank you, Mr. Gentry.
We're going to pause right there. And we're going to have to back up on another part of this, right? The bar unit itself is a private business. But unlike Walmart, they're not technically creature of the state. They're kind of their own little private bubble. And somehow or another, the judicial branch kind of kicked out the government. And it's got its own little private bubble. And while meanwhile, Walmart is still held responsible for whatever misconducts they have. Bar members are not.
Addressing with these facts is this agency is not doing its job. It's in violation of the separation of powers doctrine. They are exercising powers not granted to them, and they're holding a second office of trust that they shouldn't have. And I'm imploring this committee and the House and the Senate that we need to return this power back to the legislature.
Thank you. Thank you. We went a little over, but with the courtesies that he's shown today, I felt like we owed him that. So thank you. Thank you for your participation. All right, now do we have a motion on the bill? So we're back in session.
Mr. Chairman, without any objection, I'd like to take that
All right,
bill off notice.
off notice.
All right, so just a reminder, y'all, that man that was speaking right there, he is just one of the people, okay? Now, he may be running for Senate and Texas Senate, House, and all that, but he was doing this before he decided to even run, okay? But he was one of the people and went in there and wrote down a petition and of his grievance, right? He didn't protest. He petitioned. He was having his own private court with them. And he's in the process of instructing them. So, but one man out of all them people, and nobody else knows how to do this, how can we get our republic back? How can we get our freedom back? And how can we get our cops, our judges, all of them back in line? It's up to we the people to help him and learn how to do the petition on our own because it benefits us. Okay? And, you know, voting doesn't count, as you guys can see. And how do you think bills get passed or laws get passed? Some type of lawyer is going to fill out a petition, pass a law. Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, what did they do? They created a petition and asked them to create a law. But nobody did a petition to argue that case. Okay? So, all these things get passed by people that actually know how to do petitions, and us normal, regular, everyday folks, we don't know how to do it. Okay? So if you guys want change in your officers, if you guys want change in your judicial branch, if you guys want change in your legislature, this is what you got to do. You got to go in there and instruct them. Bring out the obvious to normal people that lives normal lives. And because, you know, I've talked to my legislators a few times. They don't think about these things. Right? I'm just saying. They go, what do? They follow the straight line. When I always look around me because I want to protect myself. They don't care about protecting themselves because they got some type of immunity that judges unlawfully gave them. Just saying. Alright? Congress stepped over their authority. We needed, everybody that believes in the Second Amendment needs to fill out a petition, a regress, and send it to Congress about the judge not going and following the Constitution, and instruct them to impeach them, the Constitution, because they've been going by statute and not by the Constitution. The Constitution, the Second Amendment, says shall not be infringed, but it doesn't say anywhere in that Constitution shall not be infringed unless we create a statute. Shall not be infringed unless Congress decides to steal your rights and create a statute. Nowhere in the Constitution or the Second Amendment says that. Sit and think about these things. 4th of July, people. It's time to get our republic back. These are We the People News. Bye, y'all.